Be satisfied for the sake of being satisfied, because the you is never going to be satisfied. It is dissatisfaction. The very thought, the very idea to pull you out from your awareness, from your attention, that which is looking. And so when you return on yourself and you feel the warmth of yourself, the beingness, this aliveness that is here, and I see myself doing this a lot too, where exactly is it that I'm trying to get to other than here? And it's all of these ideas, and these stories and these narratives that are being overlaid by meaning and saying, this is what it means. This is part of the conditioning. This is what we have to see, the veil of thought, and more specifically, the identification with thought. But if we notice that all you really want in all of your desires and cravings, pleasures, is that you want to rest. You want a sense of relief, an accomplishment. And we can talk about how the body is designed to have dopamine and other neurochemicals. But this is just the body doing what it's functioned to do. It's how the dream propels forward. We need to recognize here that awareness in itself is already complete and whole. The very fact of existence is pleasure. It's satisfaction in itself. This is something that I find myself that I do need to practice a lot. Because if you notice, there's always a sense of dissatisfaction with something, right? There's always going to be a problem. In fact, a lot of people say that they can't live without problems, right? If there was no problems, then there'd be no purpose in life, which is like, wait, you really just said that? But that's literally how people are designed, how they're wired mechanically, right? They're programmed and they can't see it because they have to justify their own understanding, their very self-concept. And this is the full circle. You recognize that there is no one outside of you. There's no one that can convince you otherwise of what you understand, believe, because they would only prove you wrong. And so when we understand that satisfaction, relief, rest is all we want, it's what I want, even that wanting, right? Which is part of it. It's never about not wanting. It's about don't identify with the one that wants. Don't put meaning. Don't get attached to it. Realize that this is just an experience, experiencing itself. There isn't an experiencer. That's a story. It's like the character in a video game. He is the game, playing the game, and he has no story. He's just experiencing the experience, which is itself. He is the game. And that is exactly what this is for us. And we really have to look in our direct experience. For example, for me right now, oh, I'm making a video, right? That's the narration. This is my body. This is my hand. How am I doing? How do I sound? How do I look? And it's optional. I don't have to pay attention to it. I can see it and just allow it. It's not about pushing it away. Because very paradoxical, that same one that wants to control it and get rid of it is the same character. And this is why it's dissatisfied. It is the seed of dissatisfaction because it will never find rest. Have you ever noticed that when you eat something delicious, it's like you want more, that actually more creates more suffering? That when you get the car or the relationship, it's only for a split second, maybe a couple of days, if you can make it last. And then it starts to look for more. So the very act of getting, of wanting, makes you suffer, makes the you suffer, because it's the seed of dissatisfaction. It needs the drive. It needs the story, right? That's why we say this is the movie, but you're not the movie. You're the screen in which the movie plays. But at the same time, you are going through the movie. You're going through the experience of those emotions, the thoughts, the self-concept. What do I think about myself? Who am I right now? And so be satisfied. Satisfaction can only happen when you recognize that it is your only choice, your only natural state. To be aware is to be satisfied with the simple fact of existing, of being alive, of not needing anything. You really don't need anything, because if you notice that you may think you want that meal, that relationship, or more money, or that job, but it's never about those things. You just want to rest. You just want to put your attention on yourself. If you could, you wouldn't do anything. But see, the problem is not those things. It's that we get attached to them. We cling to them, right? We're trying to get experience. How can you get experience when it's just experience? It's intangible. It comes and goes. And that's the key. It comes and goes, but awareness remains. Awareness is what's here. Check this out. Awareness is inside of experience and outside at the same time, right? Because you can't exclude anything here. All of this is appearing in awareness, and it's made of awareness. When you let go of the stories, the overlay, the narrative, which is built into it, because this is how awareness can speak to itself, communicate with itself, learn about itself, know about itself, learning to be satisfied, especially for the things you don't like, the you doesn't like. It's a natural state. You see, it's only the resistance. Why would you resist it? If it's already inside of you, it's already happening. It doesn't make any sense. But the me can't understand it because it thinks that it's the experiencer. It thinks that it's separate, but it's only creating these things. That's why it's so dissatisfied. The simple idea of I need to get to somewhere when I have this, but it never, it never stops, right? So be satisfied for the sake of being satisfied. And don't fall into the trap of thinking, well, I need a reason. No, this is something you have to practice. Like literally right now, are you satisfied? Regardless of what's happening. You don't need proof of it. You just simply need to accept, right? It's an acceptance. Anything that you want, it's a projection. You say, okay, that's what I want. It's like a yes. And the thing is, awareness is that yes moment in every moment. There is no gap. Awareness doesn't leave, even though it does seem, but what leaves is your attention. And you know how they said, what's looking is what you're looking for? You're looking to put your attention here and now, back on awareness, and let go of these ideas and concepts. I know that I find myself doing this a lot too. And it's frustrating and disappointing because it never makes you happy to think about the things that you don't have, create the sense of lack. And then once you get them, you just want more. This is the mechanism of seeking, of pursuing, of becoming. Again, it's part of the purpose of life to discover yourself as life, as awareness. And all of these are just words: life, awareness. The only thing that's here is what's here. And we can't understand it, we can't explain it, but we can experience it. We can realize, awake to awakeness, to say, okay, I'm simply here, and that is enough. That's why I say you're already complete and whole, because it's only my ideas. Only when I think about it, I create it. Remember that. Only when I think about it, I create it. So I create the lack, I create my desires, I create my problems, I create the meanings, and those are optionals. And those are optional. And I can see that. The seeing is what dissolves it. That's the freedom. And that in itself is satisfaction too. So let's bathe in satisfaction for the simple fact of existing. The simple fact of satisfaction itself, like I said, right? Make it a game, because this is all a game. It's not serious as thought thinks that it is. And so be satisfied for being satisfied, or trying to be satisfied. The mind makes it another goal. Oh, I have to be satisfied. Why is it not working? This mind, the way it's wired and conditioned, it's suffering, it's dissatisfaction. But the thing is, it's not you. It's not the entirety of you. It appears in you, but it's not you. And that's why I say that you're inside of experience and outside at the same time, because everything appears, right? The meaning is not there, but it's being overlaid. And you can either believe to be that voice, or you can see it as just the voice and put your attention on awareness, because that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for a better moment. You're not looking for the better job, the better relationship, the car, these things. Nothing wrong with them, but they're just not what you're looking for. You're looking for satisfaction, that rest. And you only get it when you are being it. You can't become it. You got to be it, just like anything else. And they're not becomings. They are being. Before story, before overlay and narrative, there is first being. Acknowledge that right now. And know that satisfaction is simply when you choose to feel it for the sake of being satisfied, because that is your experience. The experiencer is a story, it's an overlay. See that. That is the freedom.